On the agenda tonight, I'm going to be exposing the most fraudulent channel I've ever seen on YouTube, and given the channels that we've looked at in the past, that is saying a lot. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, full disclosure here. I've already made an analysis video. Somebody requested that I took a look at a performance from a girl group on a channel called The First Take, and they wanted me to point out whether it was indeed live, whether it was The First Take, and I've done that analysis and I'm going to keep that in this video at the end so you can watch that. But when I made my way through that analysis, I was pointing out, pitch correction, potentially auto-tune, other parts of the performance that didn't really stack up. There was another part where the girls weren't even singing, but you could hear their voices. So it absolutely wasn't fully live. And that was the analysis. So I just want to jump into a section of my analysis video that I've done where the penny kind of dropped, where I thought I now know what they're doing in terms of sidestepping the live vocal or live instrumental issue by describing their channel in a very particular way. So have a listen to this. They could say The First Take, this YouTube channel, The First Take is a YouTube channel dedicated to shooting musicians and singers performing in a single take. Now it all starts to make sense. They've not mentioned in their description of the channel that they're singing live or they're playing live. They are shooting them, performing in a single take. As we know, in the music industry now, performing means moving. So at that point, that's why I thought they could get away with using pitch correction or auto-tune or using vocal takes that then weren't actually on the final vocal, because they haven't said that the artists or the singers are singing live. They're saying they're performing live. I did notice that the video had something like 68 million views or something like that. And I noticed that the channel had 10.1 million subscribers. So after I finished the video, I then started looking into things a little bit more, and you won't believe, and I can't believe, what I watched as the channel's introduction video to tell you what the channel is all about.
Lip syncing, vocal effects, visual effects, and excessive staging. That's the reality of music we enjoy today. But the real music can get lost in the noise, all filtered in some way, shape, or form. So we thought, how can we deliver unfiltered music in its rawest form? The First Take. This is music content that captures artists giving one-shot performances. No direction, just one mic in a white studio. No retakes, no matter what kind of accidents or mistakes may happen on stage. And no faking. The passionate sweat and tears is all untouched and unedited. Creating a sense of intimacy that lets you be in the moment, together with the artists.
ライブとはまた違った歌の楽しさ。
歌うたいにとってはこれほどのね舞台はないわけですよ。
Less filter, more music.
And there we have it. So, imagine my shock at seeing this effective trailer for the channel after I've just conducted an analysis video where I've seen that the vocals have been heavily manipulated. It sounded like we weren't actually hearing the take of the vocals because you could hear a voice really low in the mix that I think shouldn't have even been there, but somehow it slipped through. Also, I'd pointed out that you can hear their voices and they're not singing, they're not moving their mouths. So I've just pointed out all of that. And then I've seen this video, and this channel has 10.1 million subscribers. And this is why the music industry is absolutely wrecked, because the younger generation are going to channels like this, and literally in the video it says no faking. But in my analysis I've just pointed out faking, that they're not singing but you can hear their voices. And again, those backing vocals, they're not singing them. Yeah. Just totally bypassing that part. So there's so much in this. When they say, you know, as well that no retakes. Well, of course you don't need a retake if you're just editing the audio in the studio and just filming the movements, because that's exactly what's going on here. So basically what's happening is they're recording the song, the audio, the vocal performance, and they might do multiple takes, and then pitch correcting, and some artists might be using auto-tune live, but they are using that processing in order to get the pitch of the vocals more accurate, and they are definitely editing. I think they said somewhere that there was no editing.
And no faking. The passionate sweat and tears is all untouched.
The passionate sweat and tears are untouched. It literally says that in this video, and this video, you can check it, is on their channel. So they've said there's no faking. That is a lie. There's no, it's untouched. That is a lie. That is absolutely a lie. And I'll show you with the very next video that it suggested, which was Avril Lavigne. I clicked on that, had a listen to it, and we'll get into that in a second.
And unedited.
There we go. And that's absolutely it. There's saying that it's unedited is mental, because that covers so much. If you move somebody's vocal by 2 cents to get it closer to the note, you have edited that. If you've done anything to the live sound, you've edited it. So to say it's unedited is crazy. But I know exactly what they're doing. They're taking the audience for fools. They're taking everybody as an idiot, because they think, well, we're going to do exactly what everyone else does, but we're going to say we don't do it, because who's going to know? I tell you what, everybody who watches my channel is going to know that you are doing exactly the same as every other channel out there, and all the other channels that I have featured where they're using pitch correction or auto-tune or miming and all these different things. This is the same. But going back to my point of why the music industry is so wrecked in 2024, because the younger generation are going to this channel believing what they're being told, that somebody's vocal, and I'm just going to get rid of that, and let's go back to that video that I said with Avril Lavigne. So this is her performance, her first take of this particular song. I think it's Complicated we're about to listen to.
Chill out, what she yelling for? Lay back, it's all been done before. And if you could only let it...
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Extreme Pitch Correction. So here, calibrated to A440, standard pitch, equal temperament. Here, calibrated to A440, standard pitch, equal temperament. Here, calibrated to... So this has been edited from a pitch perspective. This isn't Avril Lavigne's natural voice. This has been heavily edited. Look at the way the D4 here, exactly on the line. Here, F4, exactly on the line. And let's just have a quick read of a few comments underneath this video. All of the people who've been taken for fools by this particular channel. First of all, she really sounds good after 20 years. No auto-tune, clean and crisp as always. A real artist, and that real is in capital letters. Coming down, we have her voice has aged really nicely. Everybody's voice changes as they age, but a lot of people who aren't lifelong musicians, and even some who are, get worse or lose the range and nuance they had when they were in their 20s. She seems to have gotten richer and more nuanced. She's got great texture and character to her delivery here that the original recording doesn't have. Respect for Avril went up 1,000 times. Her vocal control is crazy good. So all of these people in the comments section are thinking they're hearing this vocal accuracy naturally, and obviously they haven't watched my channel to know that this is literally impossible to do. You can't calibrate your vocal cords to equal temperament like this. But anyway, we will just listen on.
Let be, you will see, I like you the way you are.
And you can even hear it processing. And by the way, again, this channel is just in its rawest form. That's another thing it said in that video. This is not a raw vocal. It's miles away from being unedited.
When we're driving in the car,
I mean, you can hear it working it, keeping it on the line.
and you're...
Oh, wow. So anyway, this is my point, that I have pointed out a performance that had loads of bits in it that just weren't truly a first take and totally edited, and anyone that works in production will be able to spot that immediately. They think they're being clever, and I'll show you why they think they're being clever, is because they've left in this kind of thing here. But the problem is, that isn't enough. When you are absolutely butchering a vocal that actually is supposed to be unedited, when you're butchering it from a pitch perspective, sticking it on these lines, just leaving in 2 notes that are slightly off is not good enough.
I'm somebody else, round everyone else. You're watching your back, like you can't relax. Trying to be cool, you look like a fool to me.
Oh, wow, that was really bad there as well. And I know that some people might say that maybe she's just using auto-tune live, which is something that Avril Lavigne doesn't do. I've never heard her use auto-tune live, but if that were the case here, even that isn't covered, because that is editing a vocal before it even gets to the speakers, because you produce the sound goes into a processing unit which in a split second analyzes the pitch and corrects the pitch to the relevant melodic note that it should be at for the particular song, and it will snap it to that note before you then hear the result. So there's already editing that has happened before you even hear the vocal. And just to mention that fans of Avril Lavigne will know that she doesn't use auto-tune live. So why would it ever be applied to her voice, let alone on a channel that is all about leaving something unedited and untouched and just having it as it is? The last place that you would assume they would add auto-tune to a vocal is on this channel, especially with a vocalist who has never used it in all of her past releases or live performances. So again, even that just totally doesn't stack up.
You know you're not fooling.
Hey, here again. I mean, this is so the opposite of unedited. I can't believe that the channel has made this mistake of making that video, because that now makes you fraudulent. If anything has been edited at all,
Anyone, when you become somebody else.
oh, I swear you can even hear a bit of a wobble there, as if the tuning's trying to find the right note.
It's around everyone else. You're watching your back, like you can't relax. You're trying to be cool. You look like a fool to me.
Oh! And there's the piece de resistance. And by the way, we are listening to the isolated vocal. There is a guitar that's played at the same time. But have a listen to this again.
Fool to me.
Wow. Let's listen to that in slow motion, because this is an unedited vocal, apparently.
You look like a fool to me.
Oh, God. They're effectively saying what I say in all of my videos about total honesty and, you know, just telling it how it is. But this channel is intentionally deceiving people and making people believe that something is something that it isn't. And they've had, and I've seen not a lot of videos, this is the only other video I've seen, but it's the first one I needed to see because it is so ridiculously edited. But I've seen that they have had big artists on there. I think Harry Styles might have seen his picture in one of the thumbnails. So they are getting huge artists along to this channel. Now, you would question, well, why would huge artists take the risk of performing something, singing something, genuinely, just in one take? And the channel says it's going to be in its rawest form. You can't fake. It's going to be all in one shot. It's going to be untouched. It's going to be unedited. Why would anyone go on that channel? And a record label would not let their artist go on that channel, because what if they do mess it up? And then the channel releases that, and now that's going to go viral as somebody messing it up. So there's obviously an agreement here to have these kinds of artists that what we say is that there's no faking, no editing and all this stuff, but we are going to allow you to do multiple takes, and if you need pitch correction, auto-tune, that's absolutely fine, because we're not going to tell the audience that we've effectively recorded a studio vocal, but we're going to say underneath the video that you're performing live, which means we're filming you live, so you don't have to worry about messing up your vocal. And if you do mess it up, we'll just stop the camera and then start the camera again and shoot it all in one shot, and then we'll play the pre-recorded audio to the video. And that's what they're doing, and that's what they have to do in order to get these artists, because there's no way, and it just makes sense that you would not risk it. It just wouldn't make sense, considering the industry as it is, that even studio release tracks are now pitch corrected as standard. So why would you let an artist just go on something where they're not even going to have pitch correction, the thing that they rely on in the studio? So this is it. This is absolutely crazy that there's a channel like this that is so deceptive. I've seen more unedited performances from channels who don't even say that they're unedited or raw or anything like that. So to make that claim and then put out this kind of stuff is absolutely outrageous, in my opinion, because as you guys know, I'm all about honesty and integrity, and seeing a channel like this willingly mislead people. And I think about the artists that are going on this, that aren't agreeing to do it, knowing, or maybe they don't know, that maybe they are told, but then again, if they did mess it up, then they'd have to record another one in order to kind of make up for it. So I'd be interested to see how many videos on their channel have, people messing up on them. I wonder if there's even one. If it is all in one shot, then that would have to stay in. But I guarantee you, I don't even have to watch the channel to know that there aren't loads of videos of people messing up and having to start again. Because, if that were the case, they wouldn't get the people to perform on the channel. So anyway, I am going to leave in my original analysis video now, so you guys can watch that before I even knew that this channel was supposed to be promoting a totally raw, live, unedited vocal, untouched by human hands. And yeah, you can check out that analysis video, given now what you know, and what I didn't know when I did that analysis. So this is going to be interesting because, so much on the internet is not truly live and isn't done in one take, and there's multiple takes, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to jump into this, and just so you guys know, I'm going to have to read this out. It is Atarashi Gakko, and the song, I think, is Otona Blue. So hopefully I've pronounced that so that people can understand it. Maybe not. But what I'm going to do is just play a little bit of the video before we get into the analysis, because it's important to listen to the vocals and try and hear the acoustic space in which they are talking and, saying whatever they're saying in the intros. It's not in English, so let's just have a quick listen. So this is absolutely a live vocal here as they make their way into the studio. And they just said the title of the song. I've only just noticed that. So then they kind of do their, gymnastics and stuff. And now they get in front of the microphones.
わあ、うん。この度、
And yeah, we're still hearing the
ファー
acoustic
ストテイ
space
ク
here.
出演させていただき、誠に。それでは、
Absolutely. When she turned her head to the side, you heard that acoustic space.
お聞きください。大人ブルー。
So, what happens now? Oh, because we're just going to be listening to the isolated vocal, we have the instrumentation that comes in, and I'll just play a quick bit. Not that I want it to be copyright blocked or anything. So obviously it's going to be a backing track. We're not talking about a live band here. Let's have a listen.
わかってる欲しいんでしょ艶やかなこの唇やわなを
So, I mean, immediately, we've got a different sound to this mic. I mean, you could say that, okay, when they were talking at the beginning, they've just now gone for a live sound. So it's a very produced vocal. So you're not going to hear the same vocal as it was when they were just talking into the microphone. It's now going to be obviously compressed and it's going to be treated like a studio vocal. So it's going to sound like that. Now, the only problem that I do have with this, apart from it now, sounding different, is the clear pitch correction that's going on here. So this absolutely, unless they're using auto-tune live, the band might use auto-tune live, I don't know. But this looks more like pitch correction than auto-tune, and it actually sounds more like pitch correction. So I'm going to just let this play through.
の唇やわなをとこたち引き寄せる息を飲むほどに
And the reason that I say this is more like pitch correction is because of this kind of thing where it's been allowed to go either side of the E4, and generally with auto-tune it doesn't like to have notes that are too far away. Obviously it depends on how you program it, but generally this would be a very loose programming of auto-tune. So this is why I think, especially with the sound of the vocal and how produced it is, that they've started applying pitch correction.
甘い水わかってる欲しいんでしょにとみつるこの体汗ばむ街一人
So I mean, yeah, the pitch corrections are always going to, well, they've just calibrated it to a 440 standard pitch. So, I mean, you could say that, well, I don't know, this is really difficult because as a musician myself and as a singer, I would say if you're on a YouTube channel called The First Take with over 10 million subscribers, if you performed a vocal and that was your first take, but imagine that you missed all of these notes, but it's now been pitch corrected afterwards so that you didn't miss the notes really, even though you did. So on your first take you missed them, but then when it's released as your first take, it now isn't missing them. Hopefully you can understand what I'm saying, that this isn't the vocal. Is it really the first take? It's a take, but we're not hearing actually what was provided. I mean, all of this kind of thing here being snapped to a split second to the A4. Yeah, I mean, it's just happening way too frequently. I mean, here as well. Way too frequently, and this, the more you look at it, yeah, it is definitely pitch corrected. Yeah, here we go, and you even heard a little bit of the processing there. So now, apparently we've got all of the voices here that look like all of these voices. I mean, a little bit sharp here, but yeah, calibrated here. Oh, I mean, these don't sound like live vocals at all. Now, I've got reference speakers here. You might not be able to hear this, but really, really low in the mix, there's a voice in there that is not quite singing what it should be.
にも残るあどけない心だけが咲き走る青いつぼみのまま大人ぶる
Yeah, I mean, those vocals, those aren't live vocals, no way. I mean, when I say live, I mean somebody singing and then you hearing what they're singing. It's actually something that I've noticed a lot recently with live performances and performances that might be on TV. A lot of people are watching them, where there's a backing track, and on that backing track there's a lead vocal, and the person's microphone is on, but you're not hearing what they're singing. You're only hearing what's on the backing track. Now, that means that everyone involved with the show can say they were singing live, but their live mic was at maybe 10% of the volume of the actual backing track vocal that you're hearing. When I say that, the lead vocal on the backing track. So like this, I can hear a voice really quietly in the background, and there's no way it would be mixed at that level. All of these vocals are at the same level that you can hear up front. There's another one that's in there that might be just the actual live vocal feed that is really low. And again, we're going to have a discussion about this YouTube channel. Yeah, whether it's true or not. Is it false advertising being called the first take if you're not actually hearing their vocals? Or maybe it's you're hearing the first take of their vocal at 10% volume underneath a backing track lead vocal. So yeah, or it might even be the case that they've done this multiple times for the audio, and what we're looking at is the first take of them trying to record it or moving. And again, that could well be it. That they could say the first take, this YouTube channel, the first take is a YouTube channel dedicated to shooting musicians and singers performing in a single take. Now it all starts to make sense. They've not mentioned in their description of the channel that they're singing live or they're playing live. They are shooting them performing in a single take. As we know, in the music industry now, performing means moving. So that's what this is saying. But of course, nobody knows this. Nobody knows that it's now, when somebody says, or this channel says, that they're shooting musicians and singers performing in a single take. Everyone I know, from people that comment on my channel and send me emails, I know that they assume that means the people we're looking at are singing or playing their instruments or performing live as in sound. But it doesn't mean that anymore. It means that performing live is the movement. So everything they did at the beginning, and the gymnastics, whatever they were doing, and walking around, that is what they're doing in the first take. The fact that they don't specifically mention audio or singing or playing in the description of the channel, for me, I think this is another case of taking performing as, people not really knowing that what they mean is they're moving and they're filming them.
の言葉じゃなくて心でつながりたくてありきたりなね
Hey, now get your headphones on, ladies and gentlemen, turn it up. That really low voice in the mix, which I think might be a vocal that is left over from maybe one of the takes. It is in there, it is in the mix, and I think it might be, we are listening to the isolated vocals here from their final track, but I think this has been accidentally left in so that you can hear one of the actual voices really low in the mix, and you can tell because it's not on pitch, unfortunately. And the other thing that I just want to point out is this kind of thing, when she comes into shot, nah, that's the note that's wrong in the background, really low in the mix. Have a listen again. Yeah, it shouldn't be in this final mix. But anyway, what I want to say is, coming in like this, and look at the way that she's laughing. When you laugh and you sing, your voice changes, because it totally changes your support. Because you weren't expecting that to happen, so it will throw you off. But listen to the vocals. Oh, we're getting another vocal that's now high. Yeah, and again, I mean, unfortunately, that is not pitch corrected. No, it's kind of up around there. He's hitting that note. So again, this is something that's about 10% of the mix, but it's really. But again, they can say that they were singing live, and well, I guess there's the proof. I mean, oh, hang on. I just want to see that if they're actually saying that. Don't. Okay, well, they're not even singing the backing vocal. Well, they're not backing vocals. They are the vocals of these ladies. So, this means that the First Take YouTube channel is only talking about filming people. It's not the sound that we're listening to, because you can't say don't by not moving your mouth. Absolutely, they're not singing that. Right, let me get it back. Obviously, massively pitch corrected. Let's keep having a listen through.
I'm Hano. I'm Lin. I'm Miju. I'm Suzuka.
Now, I do think that they are saying these things into the mic. All you've got to do is just be in production a little bit to listen to these vocals and just think, does this sound like a live, especially the onset of the vocal, the fact that it comes in so pristinely, and the fact that these are 4 voices. It just doesn't stack up on any level. If you've done any kind of recording or singing with other singers and harmonized with each other, you get 4 distinct voices. I mean, you might be good at blending your voices, but you can still tell that it's 4 people singing. And again, those backing vocals, they're not singing them. Yeah. Don't. They're just totally bypassing that part. I mean, I'm just listening out for this little voice in the background now that just very occasionally comes in. And I think it stands out more because it's not pitch corrected. I mean, it is kind of definitely not going to be on these lines. So there you have it. I mean, absolutely, for me, conclusive that we're not actually hearing a first take vocal. It's the video that they mean is the first take. So there you go. And I'm going to repeat this again. The First Take is a YouTube channel dedicated to shooting musicians and singers performing in a single take. One take only. One take only. When they say one take only, I mean, to me, it just seems a bit stupid that how can you mess up being on camera? Because I'm on camera now, and just so you know, I'm saying all this in one take. And I'm moving in one take. So every single one of my analysis videos is a one take. Because I was doing it when I did it. So how can you ever mess that up? And this is why I think they get defensive about people who say music was so much better, you know, what, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Because, you know, they genuinely did it live. The younger generation don't know that what they're watching isn't live with the audio that's being produced. They think a live performance means live audio. So that's the only problem, is they just have to be told that, sadly, as we've seen, I mean, whenever I'm looking at a more recent performance like this, just from 1 year ago, it's got 69 million views, by the way, this particular performance. They get this many views, and the channel has got this many subscribers because they know that they're saying performing, that's how they're getting around the fact that they can then produce the tracks in the studio and just put it now with a moving image, and they say, oh no, the moving image is what we're saying they're performing live. That is the live bit, but the music is all, yeah, recorded, maybe multiple takes. We get in the studio, we apply pitch correction, we make sure that the vocals are 100% perfect, even if they're not singing them. They're not even pretending to sing the backing vocals, which they all must, I don't know, they must have been told to sing it, or maybe somebody didn't say. Live performances don't mean live audio. It means that you're looking at things that are moving and people that are moving, and they did move at that time, and it's been captured on film. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a sorry state of affairs now, but that's what I'm here for. Thank you guys for sending me this particular video to get to the bottom of exactly what's going on. And yeah, the first take, as they cleverly word it in their description and about their channel, it's not about live singing and live, you know, musicianship. It's about a video that happened when it did, and that's what we're looking at. Let me know what you guys think, whether you think this is slightly misleading or not. But if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!